Hello everyone. For those of you who aren't aware, my name is Orthros. I previously made highlight-centered TF2 content a couple of years ago before quitting temporarily to focus on classes. Fortunately, said classes are now finished, and I feel like I can finally get back into YouTube and probably Twitch once again. The past few years have been quite challenging, 2020 especially for obvious reasons, but now that I've graduated both high school and another more optional prep class, I'm feeling pretty good about returning to YouTube. As for what content I'll be making, I hope to create highlight-centered TF2 videos like I did before, but I also want to branch out, hence the second half of this video that I'll get into soon. In addition, I'm also going to start a Minecraft survival series using a light mod pack that I put together myself. The release of 1.17 seems like a good a time as any to do this. I plan to release around one video per week, and I'd also like to quickly thank all the subs that joined the channel during my absence. I never expected the count to grow while I was away, and I'm really happy about it, and I'm going to be doing my best to improve my craft as I go forward. With that out of the way, I'd like to get into the main statement of this video. Many of you will no doubt have heard about Gabe Newell's recent announcement regarding future updates for TF2, not to mention that John Patrick Lowry, I apologize if I butchered that name, the voice actor for the sniper, has recently been, quote, called back to Valve. Quite a few people have gotten their hopes up that this could finally be a sign of good things to come, including myself. But all that said, I'm still weary. This isn't the first time we as a community have had false hopes. Far from it, in fact, to the point where I'm seeing far more doubt cast than before, even when we had less evidence. But I do have to wonder, did Gaben's announcement really matter? Now, Tyler McVicker, whose channel I'll leave in the description, recently went over this topic himself, pointing out that Gabe tends to say whatever he likes, whether said statements are true or false, or somewhere in between. But at the same time, Gabe Newell is still an employee at Valve, even if he is just a figurehead. And if TF2 hadn't received any updates in the last year or so, I'd be much more inclined to write it off as his usual bullshit. But TF2 has received updates in the last year, Halloween 2020 and Xmas 2020. Sure, they may be annual updates, but this doesn't change the fact that Valve is still working on the game, however slowly that may be. And so now we get to my real question. Did Gabe Newell's words put a timer on Valve or even TF2 as a whole? Now, Gaben's answers 100% confirmed something that we didn't really know before now. Valve is 100% aware that TF2's casual mode is still being affected by cheating bots. This might seem trivial or obvious, but Valve has been so silent about the game since their last half-baked attempt at silencing the offensive words put out by the bots that we didn't even know if they were still working on it at all. Even the bigger TF2 news sources only gave speculation that TF2 had a small development team, 1 to 3 people typically, that might be working on it part-time. But now we know definitively that Valve is aware of TF2's position. Not whether or not they're working on it, but that they're aware of the position. And this means that we can finally see whether they care about it or not. Now, the problem that Valve potentially faces is that these annual updates, most notably the Halloween update, are hard deadlines for updates that have been consistent and constant throughout TF2's lifespan, even when everything else seems completely stagnant. When, and not if, but when, this deadline is reached, the game will receive a major update which tends to include new cosmetics, cases, and occasionally maps, all of which promise to increase the player count and, by extension, bring more money from TF2 to Valve, more profit. So what would happen if that update occurred, but didn't at least attempt to fix the most pressing issues with the game? Now, I believe the answer to that is incredibly simple. It would show the entire TF community that, beyond a shadow of a doubt, Valve no longer cares about the game itself, and only wants to profit from it without a care for its users. Now, I'm not saying that that's what Valve is doing. Don't get me wrong. I'm hopeful for it just like everyone else. Now, Valve will never officially kill off TF2, but this hypothetical event would be as close as it could possibly come. If the secret that Valve doesn't care about the game is leaked, the game will die. Players will finally give up hope and move on, leaving TF2's legacy in shambles. And while this certainly won't hurt Valve too badly in the long run, at least financially, it doesn't change the fact that Valve does make quite a bit of profit from the game, and thus doesn't want this to happen. So, in short, I'm wary, yes, but I'm also hopeful. Even if Valve truly didn't have any major fixes planned for TF2, those deadlines will eventually arrive, regardless of what Gabe Newell said. Although his words during that interview only put more pressure on Valve to actually do something about it. That's all I have for now. Feel free to let me know what you think or leave any questions you have in the comments. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone for sticking with me through my absence, and I'm so happy to be back. The first video in my Minecraft series will likely come out sometime later this week, so be on the lookout for that. And once again, my name is Orthros, and I will see you all next time.